Boys, UFC 305 just finished up. I have every single winner and every single loser on the main card, as well as every single winner on those early prelims and just the normal prelims. We're going to do some rare matchmaking in a second. First off though, I made a video locks of UFC 305. I made 5 guaranteed locks of what was going to happen. We're just going to quickly run through them, see if I got them right or wrong. My first lock of the card, I said Herbert Burns will quit in front of Jack Jenkins. Moving to the first lock of the card, we got Herbert Burns will quit in front of Jack Jenkins. Best believe that happened. Write that down as a dub. This second one, I'm also counting this as a win too, because I said, we're going to see a lot of the comments being like, Izzy took way too much time off. The ring rust really showed in this fight. It's either going to be one of the two things. Mark my words. It's either going to be glazing masterclass or ring rust Izzy. That'll be the conversation going on Twitter. And you know what? I literally saw both. I saw people saying Israel Adesanya was dog walking Dricus. Israel was winning every single one of those rounds. And then I also see people saying, if Izzy didn't take so much time off the ring rust, he wouldn't have made such a, rookie mistake, which he did. I've seen both. I'm counting that as a win. There's going to be at least one underdog on that main card with a highlight reel KO. That was my third lock of the card. So I said Kai Kara-France, Dan Hooker, Tai Tuivasa, or the Leech. And Kai Kara-France got that highlight reel KO. That's another dub. Moving to the fourth thing. The co-main event between Kai Kara-France and Steve Erceg is going to be, mark my words, again, lock of the card, will be a war. This is going to be one of the best flyweight fights of the year. I said that was going to happen. Unfortunately, ended in the first round. Can't really consider that one a war. Then the fifth thing, I need to double check to make sure I actually got this one. I said, I think majority of this fight card is going to be finishes. Let's see how many decisions we got. We got Gamrot versus Hooker decision, Tai Tuivasa, Rozenstruik decision. So there's 2 there. Then we go to the Joshua versus Ricardo Ramos decision, Casey O'Neill decision. That's 4 already. And then Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes and Song Kenan versus Ricky Glenn. So it's 6 there. I think regardless, we still are up 1. Let me see. We're even 6 on 6. So I guess technically I lost that one. But with that being said, let's move into these matchmakings. As you can see, we have every single winner and I believe every single loser on that main card. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna surprise a lot of people of who I'm picking to match up with who, especially in this main event. So start off, the winner by submission, we got DDP. I did think Izzy was gonna get it done. I thought it was already written in the stars. I thought some bullshit was gonna happen where he's gonna knock him out in the first round. It was a super competitive fight, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, Dricus took him down and submitted him, which I said that was either going to happen. He was either going to submit him, ground and pound. Those are the 2 logical answers, but for some reason, I thought some stupid bullshit with the UFC happening of doing some like Israel first round KO in the script type of bullshit. But moving up, we have the winner, Dricus. Now, Dana came out, said Sean Strickland is next, but we all know things can change real fast. So I think it all depends on this Chimaev versus Whitaker fight. And let's just say Chimaev wins. Best believe DDP's fighting Chimaev next. That's what I have here. DDP versus Chimaev. Now, if Whitaker does end up winning, Sean Strickland's next, But let's just say in this reality, in this timeline, Chimaev gets it done over Whitaker. He's going to be next up for Dricus. Mark my words. Moving down though, Israel Adesanya, I was having a very hard time picking, okay, who the hell is going to fight Izzy then? He's not going to fight Rob for the 3rd time if it's no belt on the line. I don't think that's happening. So, that being said, this could be a co-main 5-round fight. Give me Izzy versus Strickland 2. This is what I think's personally going to happen. Again, if Chimaev does get past Whitaker, I think this is what's going to happen. And then if Whitaker gets past him, then we're probably going to see DDP versus Strickland. And I have no idea who the hell to match up Israel with, to be honest. But let's keep moving down. Kai Kara-France, first round KO over Steve Erceg. Twitter was big sad after this fight. But regardless, I think Pantoja's next for him. There's no real number 1 contender for Pantoja. Kai Kara-France just came out here and knocked out the previous guy who just fought for a belt, who a lot of people think beat Pantoja that night. So let's give Kai Kara-France the title shot. Amir Albazi can fight someone like a Tetsuya Taira. I don't know. I haven't seen Amir Albazi for a hot minute. So let's just move on. Plus, Kai Kara-France took like 0 damage in that fight. He could probably turn around and fight probably this year, to be honest. Unless there's some sort of like underlying injury that he had going into this fight, but it doesn't seem so. That being said, moving down to the guy who lost this co-main event, Steve Erceg. You know, it was also kind of hard finding a match for Steve Erceg, but I think this would be a barn burner level fight. Both these guys coming off a loss. I believe both these guys maybe even coming off 2 losses. I'm not too sure. Both of them nowhere near title contention as of right now, in my opinion at least. They need to get at least a good win streak building up until we can have a conversation of them in title contention, because right now, I don't think either of them are. But regardless, a stupidly fun matchup. Like I said, both coming off losses. Both of them should be relatively same schedule. You know, maybe Erceg will need a little bit more time off than this guy, but let's match up Steve Erceg with Manel Kape. I think this would be such a fun matchup. And you know, it's at that point where it's a make it or break it for both of these fighters. So I think this would be a super fun matchup. Make this a 5-rounder and I'd be super happy. But let's move down. Dan Hooker, finally in that top 5. And you know, there's a lot of people you can put here for Dan Hooker. You can put a Dustin Poirier rematch, Justin Gaethje. But there was word that the UFC were trying to do this, I think, unless it might have been Dan just being Dan and, lying. But I believe there's conversations about Dan Hooker versus Charles Oliveira. So let's make that one next. Charles on a pretty decent losing streak. He's number 2 in the rankings right now. But like I said, I think he's on a 2-fight losing streak right now. I might be lying, to be honest. I might be making this up. But he's definitely on a losing streak regardless. He's lost his last fight. Let's give him someone like a Dan Hooker. And to be honest, a really good stylistic match for Charles Oliveira. So let's make that one next. Moving down, Mateusz Gamrot. Don't really know who to put here. So I think this guy's gonna lose his next matchup, which is against Moicano. And the guy I'm talking about is Benoit Saint-Denis. I think this is the next matchup for Gamrot. You know, he just lost to, I believe, the number 11 ranked fighter, something really low like that. So best believe Gamrot's gonna go really far down those rankings. The UFC already don't really like the guy, so best believe he's gonna have to fight some not low level because these guys are all in the top 15, but he's gonna have to fight the lower end of the top 15 now. Moving down, Jairzinho Rozenstruik got it done over Tai Tuivasa. Sad days. At least my boy didn't get finished, but it is what it is. Again, lots of matchups you can do for Jairzinho right now, but someone who's also coming off a win right now. I believe a fresh matchup for both these guys, relatively same in the rankings. Should be on the same fight schedule. I'm talking about Sergey Spivak. I believe he won last week's main event. I believe it was last week's anyways. But yeah, this would be a good matchup. Would it be anything super exciting? I don't really think so. I would probably favor... It's so hard to pick Spivak, I'd probably favor Jairzinho to win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spivak can get it done too. But moving down, Tai Tuivasa. What the fuck do we do with Tai Tuivasa now? It's either we give Tai Tuivasa someone outside the rankings that he can potentially just get a free knockout win, or we give him someone low in the top 15 and hope he can knock him out. The problem with giving him someone outside the rankings for a layup win is what happens if he loses. Then he's outside the rankings, so let's give him someone still in the top 15. Let's give him Marcos de Lima. He's pretty sure his last fight was against Derek Lewis. He did show some pretty bad fight IQ. He got knocked out by Derek Lewis. I believe Tai Tuivasa can get it done over Marcos de Lima. If he can't get it done over Marcos de Lima, he's still in the top 15. Then we can look outside the top 15 for an easy knockout win. But Tai Tuivasa did look a lot better this fight. I'm not gonna lie. I was very not impressed, but coming off such back-to-back low level, bad IQ, and just disappointments of fights, this one, it wasn't as bad. Moving down, Carlos Prates. This motherfucker killed my boy the Leech. What do we do with Carlos? I think the UFC is going to want to build this guy. I think they're going to want to build him. They already used the Leech's name. We need another guy that has a name value in this division. Someone, again, probably an old guy coming into his last few fights. Someone they can build Carlos off. I'm talking about Santiago Ponzinibbio. You can't tell me the UFC wouldn't match these guys up next, so Carlos can get another highlight reel knockout. But yeah, let's move over. Sad times for the boy, the Leech, Lee, unfortunately, he looks so stiff out there. He looked like an old man out there. I don't think we can just say, yeah, the time off really hurt the Leech. No. I think the age hurt the Leech. I think coming off the fucking spine surgery hurt the Leech. I don't think the Leech should be fighting anymore. I'm going to say it. I think the Leech should retire. After this performance, yes, I guess we can see him fight some low-level guys, but after this performance, you know, seeing the Leech versus Tony Ferguson would make sense to book. You know, that's how bad it looked. When a few years ago, when we saw the Leech versus Tony Ferguson, we were all thinking, what the fuck is going on? Why are they trying to literally kill Tony Ferguson? But yeah, the Leech, hang it up. He has dreams of, I think he was talking about like coaching and building up the next generation of Chinese fighters. Let's do that instead, you know. The Leech, I don't want to see him fight anymore, you know. Is it because, you know, I don't like him? No, it's because I don't want to see another Tony Ferguson situation, you know? Pretty much is what's going on. Let's move down. Early prelims, we're going to run through these a little bit faster than what we did with the main events. You know, we're not going to give them the most amount of detail on why, because at the end of the day, I've noticed a lot of people don't really care that much for these prelims. Moving down, Valter Walker got that submission over Junior Tafa. I saw the interview where he wanted to fight Justin Tafa. He wanted to fight the older brother. But you know, the UFC's stupid. They don't want to make fights that are exciting. They don't want to make like bloodlines. I don't know. As of recently, it seems like the UFC don't really want to grow. This would be a fight that would be somewhat anticipated in that heavyweight division. So because of that, I can see them putting Valter Walker versus Jamal Poget. Yeah, I can see this happening instead of Justin Tafa. But let's keep moving down. And you know, Jamal, he's a win one, lose one. Recently in the UFC, at least he's 2-1, so his only loss in the UFC is against Mick Parkin. He's coming off a win over Thomas Peterson. He's very similar to a Valter Walker, I'm not gonna lie. But let's move down. Ricardo Ramos got it done over Joshua, and I'm not gonna lie, I was so hyped when he won this fight, because at the end of the day, you know, yes, did Ricardo Ramos deserve to win more than Joshua at the end of the day? Joshua, this had to have been one of the lowest level IQs, like zero finishing instinct moments I've ever witnessed in my entire life. I'm not gonna lie, it was terrible to watch. Doing all this stupid stuff, dancing, spinning around, you know. He severely hurt Ricardo's leg in the second round, and instead of just letting him back up to kick him one more time, because I guarantee if he kicked Ricardo one more time in that second round, it would have been over. But instead of that, he let him lay on the ground, and he freaking danced around him for, I'm not joking, like 3 minutes straight. Low level IQ, zero finishing. I'm just more glad that Joshua lost the fight than Ricardo won, if that makes any sense. But Ricardo got it done. Smash him up. Someone currently undefeated in the UFC. They just fought, I believe, last week as well. So same fight schedule. Both of them coming off decision wins. I'm talking about Jose Mariscal. I think this is to be a fun matchup. This is the one that we should do next. A really fun striking matchup. One where most likely Ricardo will get knocked out in this fight. But it is what it is. He showed stupid levels of toughness in this fight. So who knows? He can maybe make it to a decision. I don't know. Casey O'Neill, though, got it done. Decision win. I don't think she deserves someone higher than her in the rankings, because she was on a 2-fight losing streak previous to this. So she just snapped the losing streak last night. Let's match her up with someone who's on a huge win streak as of recently, someone who deserves a top 15 opponent. That's going to be Veronica Hardy. I think she's ready for the top 15. I think she deserves to be in the top 15. I think she gets it done over Casey O'Neill. But yeah, Casey O'Neill, Veronica Hardy. Let's smash those two up next. Moving down, Jack Jenkins. I told you guys, Jack Jenkins is going to make Herbert Burns quit, and that's exactly what he did. Herbert Burns was on the ground. The ref said, stand up. That boy said, nah, I want to go home. That's exactly what happened. Let's match up Jack Jenkins with someone else who is on this card. We were just talking about him recently, and that person is going to be Jack Jenkins taking on Joshua Kolubau, but I think Jack Jenkins gets it done. It's going to be one of his harder matchups to date, but yeah, let's match these two. Very similar in the rankings. Tom Nolan got it done. We're not going to go in huge detail for the rest of these. He got it done. Let's match him up with Caio Fernandez. Moving down, Song Kenan also got it done. Didn't look the greatest out there. Let's match him up someone similar in the rankings. Similar fight schedule. Let's match him up against Gabriel Green. Moving down to the very last one, Jesus Aguilar got that submission win, that underdog submission win. I think we move him up somewhere higher. I think we give him a big name, but not someone huge in the rankings. Talking about Joshua Van. You know, Joshua Van is going to be a make it or break it type of performance. You know, he's either going to go out there, smoke Jesus, and show everyone why he should be still part of this like prospect conversation, or, you know, Jesus Aguilar takes all of his hype. That's pretty much how it's going to go. And yeah, that's every single winner, a few losers in this entire UFC 305 card. You guys have to let me know in the comments below. Did I match them up right or wrong? Who would you match them up with instead? And yeah, your boy is on that goal to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you have not yet, leave a like on this video and subscribe with those post notifications turned on so you never miss any of my new videos. And yeah, boys, you know, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.